Hey, good morning, Sean.
Hey, good morning. How's it going, Rich?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm trying to adapt to the situation like everybody else.
It's very different, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's easier for you guys because you guys are younger and used to doing it this way. I've been talking to my wife because she's working out of the house here too, and I
Hmm.
said I'm so used to face to face meetings, sitting in somebody's office, sitting like at a table where what we did when
Yeah,
we first met. It's so different.
yeah. Well, if it makes me feel any better, I'm not used to these Zoom calls at all.
No,
So, I mean, I've just started getting used to them once this whole thing happened. But I've used FaceTime in the past, but I've
right.
never really used Zoom too much. And it's funny
Well,
because I've seen other people do these types of things, like they'll do a podcast via Zoom, and I
right.
was always like, nah, I'd rather meet in person. And it's just so funny. I was kind of like forced into this situation. Now I'm kind of, not that I'm enjoying what's going on, but I'm enjoying using Zoom and just connecting with people. You don't have to take half an hour to drive to me and sit down with each
Right.
other. It's just, it makes it a little easier.
It's going to change the way we all do business.
Oh, for
I
sure.
see it already. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, for
right
sure.
now we can't. But I
Mhm.
mean, if you're in the middle of the winter time and you have a meeting with somebody and the weather is bad, you just dial in and have that meeting right over the phone. I mean, we do it in sales call every single Monday, so
Yep.
I'm used to it for the last like 2 years now.
Mhm.
But I'm just really starting to do this also now with clients. So it's
Yeah,
it's a little different, but I'm kind of
for
used to
sure.
it. But I've
Yeah,
done
for sure.
podcasts before. I did a podcast on LinkedIn with
Oh, okay.
with Steve Barker from Affiliated Agency in Plainview.
Oh, okay.
Maxons wanted to know all about Maxons, how long I've been with them, what's the history of the company. And it
Yep.
was very nice, and he did it, and he really did a nice job with it because he edited it and stuff like that. So it was
Yeah.
fun, a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, listen, that sounds similar to, what I'm doing here. I
Right.
really just wanted to, for people that don't know, if you want to start, just, tell them a little bit about what you do and kind of how you got into, the business.
Sure. Well, let's go back about 35 years. I was in the menswear business in Roosevelt Field,
Mhm.
and unfortunately, my boss was going bankrupt after 49 years. So it was a change for me. I wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
Uh, I had two young kids, working Saturdays and Sundays, and was really I love the business, but it wasn't my cup of tea anymore. So after 15 years, I really wanted to make a change in what I did. And my father was an insurance adjuster with Chubb at the time, and it just so happened that not the guy that I work for today, but his uncle worked for another company,
Mhm.
and he was partners, and he passed away, and they were looking for a manager, a general manager to take over, and I had managerial for 15 years, so it really
Yeah.
was just going from one business to another,
Mhm.
learning this business. Um, and I worked for American Fire for 15 years, and
Wow.
I've worked for Maxons. I started with Maxons 20 years ago. I'm just here 20 years
Wow.
last month.
Wow. And what does Maxons do? Explain a little
Max,
bit about their operation.
Mac, it's an emergency service business. Yeah, it's an emergency service business that takes care of fires, floods, mold, lead, asbestos. We do some minor construction. We don't get involved in major construction.
Mhm.
Um, my boss's father basically started this whole industry over 70 years ago. There was no such thing as fire restoration.
Yeah.
Um, Damon's father was he had a concession for Gimbals and Macy's for carpeting, area rugs, upholstery, and adjusters back then they must have had a big rainstorm or event back then many years
Mhm.
ago. And they had called, his name was Max also. They called Max and said, we need some of your crews to suck up water in people's homes. And he was like, okay, sure. And sure enough, this like hit a light bulb on his head. And he was like, I can do this every single day,
Yeah.
and he opened up Action Restorers many years ago in the city. And Damon's father worked till he was 89 years old.
Good for him.
guy who dressed up every day. There was no such thing as casual wear back then. I mean, I remember going to meetings, meeting my boss when he was like 16, 17 years old with long hair and stuff. He'd bring his sons to the meetings. But yeah, Max was the whole start of this industry.
That's a good story. You know, it's so funny. The more people I talk to, I hear more stories like that where, you know, the owner worked until he was, you know, 85, 89, whatever the case is.
Yep.
And it's so funny how your mindset changes as you start to get a little older. Cause when I was, you know, 18 and 20, I was like, working at 80 years old, I'm going to retire at 50, be on a beach, you know, have all this money.
Yep.
And then, you know, as you get older, I start, not that I'm old, but I already can tell, like, I love the process of working and interacting with people and trying to grow a business that of course I'd be happy to retire, but I think I would definitely miss the whole process of running a business and interacting with people, you know? I think that would drive me a little nuts.
Where you're starting right now, okay, it's probably a great time, even though things are strange in this country right now.
Yeah.
But because you're young and you have so much behind you to look after, you know, to look forward to, the guys that are my age and above my age, they're looking to skedaddle out of the business soon. They've had enough. I mean, they've seen it, they've done it, and it's guys like you that are going to take this whole industry over and make it boom all over again. Because it's innovative. So. I'm sure it will. You will see many we're all going to see many changes that are it's going to change the way we all do business in your industry and our industry. My industry is not going to change so much because we still have to have people out there looking at jobs and running jobs and stuff. But your end of it really is going to be a boom to you guys because, I mean, look at it today. If you want to speak to a guy in Hawaii, all you got to do is get on the phone.
Yeah.
Don't have to take a plane. You don't have to meet the guy in California, whatever. You could do a business deal right over the phone with a client. Guy could be at his desk at work like we are right now.
Yeah. I know technology can be a beautiful thing, you know?
It can be. Yeah. It can be.
I wanted to ask you, how is, I know you said the operations hasn't changed too much, but since this whole COVID-19 thing happened, I'm sure you guys are doing something different there. Like what's the whole process like if you have to go do a project?
Okay. Oh, absolutely. Well, there's two types of projects. There are COVID projects, which only a couple of guys are pricing in the company. So
explain that a little bit.
Sure. So if you say you're in an office, I'm going to give you an example. I got a call yesterday from a client out in Southampton. They have a building out there that had a couple of confirmed cases come into the building. Mm-hmm. So they said, Rich, we need a price to do the COVID cleaning. And I said, okay, get me the square footage. I'll get a hold of Jeff or Alan. They'll figure it out. It's a 5-minute deal. Just give me the square footage and we will tell you what it's going to cost. And that's it. And at that point, they'll send you a contract via email with all the pricing in there. All you got to do is sign it and send it back, and we get a crew out. Great. On the other parts of it, a fire or flood or mold or whatever, we're still sending project managers out, totally protected, masks, gloves, whatever, and they are going out inspecting, getting jobs done, getting jobs started. The crews are also protected. Today you have to. Today we're in a very unique situation right now. I mean, one of my clients lost both his parents in the last 4 days.
Oh, that's sad.
And his uncle, who was in the business. They're all in the business. So it was very sad yesterday. But as a company, we're still maintaining our regular business. Office-wise, there's only a couple of people in our main office in New York. We have 4 offices, New York, New Jersey, and Wayne, New Jersey, Westchester, White Plains, and Long Island. So all of us are working remotely except for a couple of people. All the offices are closed. Remote offices are closed, Westchester, New York, Long Island. But New York still has a couple of people going in. The project managers do not come in. They all work from home.
Gotcha.
And if anybody wants to...
Go ahead, sorry.
If anybody wants to know more about what we do and what we're about, I know an email is coming out to all of my clients today. It's going to you also, and you can click on it, and it says all of our services. So it has a list of everything. Or you can go on our new website, which I believe was being launched today also. We redid our website. So it's www.maxons.com, and you can see everything that's there, including Damon's father's story from way back in the 40s when he started this stuff.
Ah, very interesting.
Can see Max.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to ask you before we get off the COVID cleanups. What does that whole process look like? Are you guys just like suited up?
Yes,
Like,
you have to be suited. There's a lot of bad stories out there where guys are going in, they're giving prices, their prices are very, very low because they're really not doing correct jobs. But the correct job is there's only a couple of products to be used to clean. All of our guys are the bio crews that are doing it. These guys are trained to do this. Mm-hmm. Our regular crews that do mold and water and fire and stuff, they are not doing any of the biohazard jobs whatsoever.
Gotcha.
So these crews are totally in PPE from like what you see on television, top to bottom, gloves, masks, suits, everything, respirators. They're cleaning everything that's a touch surface. And the couple of products that they're using that everybody that's doing it right is using the same stuff. And they're coming out with some new stuff also. I saw on television the other night where they have this spray stuff also that sticks to surfaces. Again, every day that's going on, there's something new coming out. But I know that now they're only using 2 products. But what they're doing is they're putting it down, they're spraying it on, and they're letting it sit for 4 to 5 minutes. So that's what kills the germ.
Gotcha.
Because if you read a can of Lysol, it says will kill coronavirus. It has for years. Coronavirus has been around for a long time, but the Lysol sprays and it evaporates very fast, so it doesn't have enough time to work on an area. But you know what? All these bio wipes that you can buy in the store, the Clorox wipes, that works fine. You could do your countertops and bathroom sinks and stuff like that. We use them here in the house all the time, constantly. Mm-hmm. And we're not around anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're doing it in the correct manner. We don't want anybody to come back and say, hey guys, you sent a bunch of guys in here in jeans and t-shirts and nobody was wearing PPE. They're wearing gloves or an N95 mask. Nobody's doing that. Yeah. And we've done a couple of big brokers' offices already where there were confirmed cases. So, and everybody's been happy with our work.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's scary because, I mean, if you do have a confirmed case, it's got to be even scary for your workers, even if they are covered from head to toe. Yeah. I'm sure deep down they're a little nervous about you know.
Well, Maxons, one of our people had a confirmed case last Thursday.
Oh, wow.
You know, and she's not out seeing jobs. She's just somebody that comes to work every single day, mass transit. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, she's okay. She's home. But last Thursday night, our whole office had to be cleaned.
Yeah.
The whole office had to be shut down at 4:00, and the guys came in, had to do the whole office. And that's what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a crazy time we're in. That's for sure.
It shows no favorites either.
Doesn't matter, and it seems like, it's the unknown. Like we have no clue when everybody's getting back. You know, they just pushed it till May 15th. So now it's like, when May 15th comes, is it going to be June 15th? You know, nobody knows. So that's the part of it that I think messes with everybody a little bit too. You know what I mean?
Yep. I listened to Scott Reckler from RXR, the owner. I know Scott personally. Mm-hmm. And Scott said this morning in a podcast, on LinkedIn, he said that he thinks it looks more like May 30th right now. He goes, I could be wrong. He goes, but I'm looking more at the May 30th. And he goes, my people, he goes, I'm just keeping my people informed. I want my guys to lead by example and do the right thing. Mm-hmm. Stay away from people as much as you can. Scott grew up in the business. His family, RXR and Reckler and stuff, they were all one family, but they split. But Scott's got a lot of great ideas. Besides being a great businessman, I like the way he thinks.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah, RXR. They're a GC company, right?
Yeah, they're real estate.
Real
They
estate.
own
Oh,
like
okay.
the EAB Plaza and stuff like that.
I gotcha.
The Omni building in Uniondale, half of Melville, half of where
Wow.
like where you are in Melville.
Yeah.
All of that's RXR. A lot of it.
Okay.
You got
Okay.
Fairfield and RXR, and you got a bunch of them there. But he's a good guy. He knows his
Yeah,
stuff.
they're a big player, huh?
Yep. Yep.
I wanted to ask you too before I forget. Is there any tips or anything you could give to a business owner that, I don't know, let's say they are essential, or that Trump says, hey, we'll start rolling back certain jobs very slowly to keep their place clean? Is there like anything?
As long as you don't have a confirmed case, and I'm
Yep.
telling this to everybody that calls me, and I get a lot of calls.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a confirmed case and you're working in an office space and you have a crew that comes in at night to do cleaning, have them clean and disinfect all touch surfaces, desks, chairs, doorknobs, elevator buttons, anything that's touch surfaces, even a wall. If you're in a cubicle and the wall is 3-4 feet up, you can clean that. Those are the things that will disinfect an office.
Yep.
Once you have a confirmed case, then you have to have it done by a biohazard team.
Gotcha. And that those biohazard teams, do they have like certain certificates, or like, how do you know if you're like hiring the right person? You know what I mean?
Well, they're trained. Like our groups are trained.
Okay.
These guys, that's all they do. The crews that we have, they do dead body cleanups. Years ago, we could do that with regular crews. Can't do that anymore. Blood, we used to be able to do that. Blood cleanups, anything that has to do with environmental stuff like that. We have separate crews for that. They don't do the fire restoration and the water damage cleanups. Those and we get calls on a lot of them. I mean, CVS's, oh my God. There's constantly, hold on a second. Let me just, I was just getting a call. I was just getting a call from a broker. So she's probably going to ask me something, but, yeah, if you don't have a confirmed case, we're not looking to take your money. Okay.
I gotcha.
There's no need for it. You can get it done yourself. If you don't have a crew, there are crews, there are companies that have already contacted us, and we have sent an email out. When you're ready to get back into your building, if you want us to come in and clean, we will send a regular crew in to clean and disinfect those touch surfaces. You know, and again, it's by the square foot. We're not doing it by man days and stuff like that. We're not doing it like a regular
billing by the hour.
Right. Well, you're doing time and material. That's it. Exactly. And it goes very easy. It's but guys want it done. I've been contacted by numerous brokers already and said, look, when we go back in here, and I've told people, if you've been totally out of the office for more than 2 weeks, the germ's dead.
Yeah.
But everybody, for peace of mind, they want to have their places clean. We have no problem.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, listen, Rich, I know we did almost 20 minutes already. Thanks for doing this. Listen, I think we should both be similar to what you said before. I think we should both be very grateful that we're staying busy. The family's healthy.
Absolutely.
And it's a tragedy to hear stories like you were saying before with both that person's parents. But I was blown away last night. It was terrible. Because I know these guys over 30 years, and all four of them, two brothers, Steve and Frank, and their parents they all had coronavirus. The two boys, Frank and Steve. Steve's about a couple of years younger than me, and Steve's a few years younger than him. They both not only had coronavirus, they both had pneumonia. So they're okay now. And then last week, 2 weekends ago, their parents went into Stony Brook. And last Saturday, his father passed away, and last night his mother passed away, and last Friday his uncle passed away, who was also in the business. So you're losing not only friends, but you're losing people in our industry. Yeah, it's sad. I know that's why, again, we just have to be,
you got to be thankful for what we got.
Have to be. I know.
You stay safe. You stay safe with your family, and when you do have to go out, you just be careful. I wear gloves and I wear a mask. I don't even have a mask. I'm using a cloth thing that the Surgeon General showed how to make. It's cool. It's cool. But no, and if there, like I said, if there's anything that anybody wants to know, they can either go to our website or you'll have the emails on there, and they'll give you all things and tips to do on there.
Beautiful. Well, thanks again for doing this, Rich. I appreciate it, man. I'll speak to you soon. All right.
If you need anything, give me a holler. Okay. Great talking to you, Sean.
Will do. Thanks, Rich. Take it easy.
Have a good day. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.